Welcome to the Rensselaer County Legislature. Tonight we'll start off with presentations for this evening. These are resolutions that were priorly passed, and the first one for those is P25819, a resolution commending Delilah Hoig upon the occasion of being crowned the 2019-2020 Rensselaer County Dairy Queen. That's a great honor. Come on down, please. That presentation will be by Mr. Harrington, and congratulations, Delilah. Very good.
And Delilah is our dairy princess, not our dairy queen, but she is a queen. I'll read some of this resolution. Sorry for my voice, doesn't sound too good. This is a resolution commending Delilah Hoig upon occasion of being crowned the 2019-2020 Rensselaer County Dairy Princess. And I won't read it all, but I'll read this. Here we go. The second one I'll read. Fully in accord with its long-standing traditions, it is the intent of this legislative body to acknowledge with profound respect and admiration Delilah Hoig, who was recently honored by being named the 2019-2020 Rensselaer County Dairy Princess. Whereas Rensselaer County Dairy Princess is reviewed by a judging committee to ensure that the chosen woman can embark on an experience that is meaningful for her personality, enhances her community in some way, and is consistent with the meaning of the dairy experiences in her life. And whereas this award recognizes the accomplishments, growth, and the pursuit of multifaceted endeavors that involve young women who exhibit a knowledge of the dairy industry as well as a willingness to serve the dairy as a dairy ambassador while developing leadership skills and contributing to the dairy community. And whereas the name of Delilah Hoig has been added to the roster of successful young women who have achieved the unique distinction of Dairy Princess. This merited award is tangible evidence of Delilah's high character and commitment, indicative of her future service to her community. And whereas this legislative body shall inscribe upon its records this tribute to Delilah Hoig so that the future generations may know and appreciate her admirable character, her many achievements, and the respect and esteem in which she is held. Now, therefore, be it resolved that this legislative body pauses in its deliberations and most joyously commend Delilah Hoig for her outstanding achievement, fully confident that such pause symbolizes our shared commitment to the ideas of community, volunteer, and public service, which are part of our American heritage. Resolved that the clerk of the legislature transmit a copy of this resolution suitably engrossed to the 2019-2020 Rensselaer County Dairy Princess, Delilah Hoig.
All right, Delilah.
Congratulate you. As a dairy farmer and a representative of all the farms in the dairy business, I'd like to say we certainly appreciate the work you're about to endeavor on here. We know it's a challenge. Delilah will be visiting schools, going to all functions, probably going to Syracuse, right? Mm-hmm. And across the state, they have meetings, and they have a get-together for the New York State Dairy Princess. And we really do appreciate what she does for the dairy industry. Lord knows we need the help these days. So, Delilah, I have this. You want to say a few words? Okay, go ahead.
I just want to say thank you very much. I'm so honored that I'm able to represent the dairy industry in Rensselaer County, and I represent all of the hardworking dairy farmers in Rensselaer County, so thank you very much.
Should have asked if anybody would.
We're running late
Thank you, Delilah, and we wish you well in your new endeavor. 19, a resolution recognizing Stephen Fisk for his heroic rescue efforts. Mr. Fisk, will you please come down? And presentation by Cassell, Harrington, and Tessman. And any other legislators who want to join in.
Hey, Steve.
Hey, how are you?
Okay, we have a resolution here, P-296-19, the resolution recognizing Stephen Fisk for his heroic rescue effort. And it's a really great story, so I'm going to read it here, and I'm just reading it over, and it's a great honor to be up here with you.
Thank you.
On Sunday, the 23rd day of June, in the year 2019, Stephen Fisk was enjoying a nice afternoon tubing on his friend's boat on Saratoga Lake. There were 4 passengers on the boat that afternoon, 1 person driving, 2 people spotting, and the owner, Lisa Marie Brown, was being pulled on her O'Brien water tube. Lisa hit a wave from the wake from another boat and flipped off her tube, and she went underwater. The rope from this tube had wrapped around her legs, and her life jacket was partially removed. Stephen did not hesitate. Stephen jumped in and swam to Lisa, keeping her afloat until a boat could pick them up. Lisa is very grateful for Stephen's quick actions and saved her life and averted a tragedy. This legislative body recognizes the actions of Stephen Fisk that helped avert a tragedy and is deserving of a thanks for recognition of members of this body. Therefore be it, this legislative body does hereby recognize and commend Stephen Fisk for his heroism in saving the life of his friends, and it be further that the clerk of this legislature is hereby directed and transmitted a copy of this resolution audibly engrossed to Stephen Fisk, adopted August 13, 2019. And they also have a pin of valor from the legislator or legislative here, everybody, to give to Steve in his heroic thing. So thank you very much, sir.
Not a problem.
All right.
And I do know the Fisk family. I got to know most of them up there just now, but I know Steve's father and Steve, and I'm so glad to be up here doing this, and I'm sure other people know Steve and Steve's family. I'm pretty sure Rob knows the family, and from construction days, right? And so anybody else want to speak, they go ahead, or you want to give them to speak? Sure.
Yeah, what should I say?
Anything you want.
Go right ahead.
You're in charge.
I would like to thank the Rensselaer County Legislature for recognizing me on this heroic action.
All right.
Congratulations, Alan.
Thank you, Stephen. Goes to show you, we never know who our next hero is going to be. Thank you, Stephen. Or whenever you're going to be called upon to be the next hero. That's the hard part. Next presentation, again, will be followed by a resolution later on this evening, and that is P-32219, a resolution recognizing and commemorating the 200th anniversary of the Schaghticoke County Fair, or Rensselaer County Fair at Schaghticoke. Representatives here are representatives from the Rensselaer County Historical Society, Kathy Sheehan, I believe, and presentation by legislator Bendet and Bailey. And any other legislators who want to come up? Thank you for coming up.
Are you sure it's Bendet and Bailey? Because I don't have it.
You don't?
Do it.
Oh, here it
If
is.
you give it to me, I'll do it. Hi, I'm Scott.
Thank you. Yeah, that's what it says.
It's no problem. Celebrating the 200th anniversary, oh, thank you, of the fair, and I assume that's the Schaghticoke Fair. It's consistent with the duty of this legislative body to recognize historic occasions and acknowledge with profound respect and admiration a milestone in the history of our great county. And whereas the Schaghticoke Fair is the third oldest fair in New York State and the oldest in the Capital District, and this year we'll be celebrating 200 years of Rensselaer County's agricultural history and heritage with an exhibition at the county fairgrounds in Schaghticoke. And whereas at a meeting of a number of respectable free men of the county of Rensselaer and convened at the courthouse in the city of Troy in pursuance of a public notice on Thursday, the 3rd day of June 1819, for the purpose of organizing an agricultural society for the said county, George Tibbetts Esquire was chosen as chairman and Harmon Knickerbacker Esquire was the secretary. And on this day, the Rensselaer County Agricultural Society organized their first fair, starting a tradition that lasted for 200 years and is still a loved and cherished event. And whereas the first fair of 1819 took place just south of Hoosick Street on the Common, this yearly tradition of gathering and showcasing new innovations in farming techniques, new equipment, and the sheer joy of communities gathering to celebrate the harvest was started. And whereas from 1840 to 1896, the Rensselaer County Agricultural and Mechanical Society Fair had 2 locations in Batestown, formerly the southern part of the town of Lansingburg, and 1880 to 1896 at Rensselaer Park in Lansingburg. And whereas during the Civil War, the fairgrounds and buildings were used by the Rensselaer County Regiment, this was the first time since the society was organized 22 years ago that the annual fair has not been held. The fair was also not held in 1917 due to World War I. And throughout 1900 to 1945, Rensselaer County held 2 fairs. The Rensselaer County Agricultural and Liberal Arts Society held their fair in Nassau, and the Rensselaer County Agricultural and Horticultural Society held its fair in Sand Lake. Floral parades, trotting races, and agricultural, domestic, and culinary exhibitions were displayed during this time. And then, whereas in 1908, the Rensselaer County Agricultural and Horticultural Society moved the fair back to Rensselaer Park, Lansingburg, and introduced a roller coaster, Ferris wheel, dancing pavilion, and a $500 display of fireworks. And whereas the fair purchased the land on the corner of Route 40 and 67 in 1921, but continued to run 2 fairs, the Rensselaer County Agricultural Society and the Nassau Fair, concurrently until 1945, when the Nassau Fair ended. And today, the county fair bridges old agricultural traditions with new traditions, and now therefore be it resolved that in accordance with the tradition of the Rensselaer County Legislature to recognize those institutions and individuals who have contributed to the historical preservation of this community, it hereby commends the Rensselaer County historians for the information obtained to write this resolution, and be it further, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The clerk of the legislature will put it on the docket. So, with that being said, I think we can all say that we're all very proud to be honoring the Schaghticoke Fair from somebody who grew up on Long Island and then was a transplant up here. It was quite a culture shock, but it's also been a great tradition for my family over the last however many years. And we love going to the fair, and we're looking forward to see Trace Adkins this year as well. Yeah. So I'll let you say something.
Thank you very much. On behalf of the 14 town historians, thank you to our county legislatures for recognizing this important milestone in our county's history and for supporting the exhibition that highlights 200 years of the fair. That 200 years later, we still come together for 6 days to celebrate our rural heritage and accomplishments of our farmers, our 4-H groups, granges, volunteer firepersons, veterans, cooperative extension, church and social groups, and so many others. Stands as testament to the vitality and passion that exists in Rensselaer County. The historians and Historical Society greatly appreciate the support of the legislature and certainly County Executive McLaughlin. I hope you will all come to see the exhibition in the New York Products Building during the fair. After the fair, the panels will be installed here in the county office building for all to enjoy and learn about the history of the fair from its beginnings in Troy and Lansingburg through the years in Nassau and Sand Lake, and finally for more than 90 years in Schaghticoke. I want to thank all those who shared their fair stories with me last year, and I look forward to hearing more memories at the fair this year. They will all be archived at the Historical Society. Thank you to who really has done the lion's share of research for this exhibition. I could not have done this exhibit without them, and I am truly grateful that I get to work with these dedicated historians to bring this history to everyone. Thank you very much. Appreciate all your support.
Thank you.
Your dress would be great. You should come back.
I know, they're everywhere.
I was afraid of. Thank you very much. What a rich history, and it's great to keep it alive. Okay. That's all we have for presentations for tonight. But we do have the public speakers on resolutions for tonight's agenda. The first speaker asked to come down would be Peter Finn. There's no wrong way.
Are we up here?
Yes, sir.
I'm way underdressed. Everybody else got their blue jackets on and ties. I have some copies and stuff, but I didn't make one for everybody, so if you could put
I will leave.
and committee chairs and.
I will pass it to the clerk and have the clerk distribute it.
All right, thank you. Hi, my name is Peter Finn. I live in Averill Park. I've got a long connection to the city of Rensselaer. My wife grew up there. My son lives there. And of late, we've been very concerned about the Dunn landfill and of course, the moratorium that's on the agenda tonight. So first off, I just want to thank the legislature for having this moratorium on the agenda and for taking this issue on. I think a lot of the issues associated with the Dunn landfill and then the biohigh-tech down on Riverside Avenue have been around dust and air quality and particulates and those kinds of things. And I think the water issue is one of those sleeper issues like we learned in Hoosick Falls. The water issue could be there a very long time, and I'm really glad that the legislature is addressing it. The other quick comment I want to make is I think it's a county-wide issue. It's real easy to say it's a city of Rensselaer issue, but it's a North Greenbush issue, it's an East Greenbush issue. Questar BOCES students who are in that building are not all from the city of Rensselaer. You go to the cemetery, that's right. I mean, the fence of the cemetery is the landfill. Holy Sepulchre off 3rd Avenue Extension. You drive down 787, at least when the leaves are off the trees. Our giant billboard for Rensselaer County is a landfill. So I think it's a lot of issues there. I do want to call quickly your attention. I gave a quick handout to Chairman Stammel, but I didn't make one for everybody. Just say a quick comment about the Quackenderry Creek. For those who are familiar with that site, the hollow, which I know you know about, sits just below the landfill and actually runs the entire north-south length of the landfill, about 1.5 miles. I heard the hollow is about 2 miles. So every drop of water that lands on that landfill, whether it's rain, snow, whether they're hosing it down for dust, whether it's leachate that eventually is going to bubble up from the bottom of the landfill, it all winds up in only one place, and that's the creek. And where does the creek go from there? It goes by a bunch of houses, goes through some backyards, goes past the Little League field, and eventually makes its way out into the Hudson. And as some of you know, that flooded 8 years ago.
Twice.
Catastrophic flood. Washed out roads, bridges, people's backyards, their porches. And just imagine what will be in that water if we're not paying attention. People have gardens, and where does the stuff go that washes out of the creek? It comes up in their tomatoes for the next 50 years if we don't do this right. So I just want to kind of call your attention to that and call your attention to that, at least as of 2017, and I've given the chairman the reference. As of 2017, Riverkeeper had an active monitoring program on the Quackenderry Creek with the Rensselaer Land Trust, right, above the landfill by the school and below by the Little League field. I don't know if that still exists, but my recommendation is that the legislature or work through the county executive or the health department, whatever the right thing is, to make sure that monitoring is still being done now, And that the monitoring be extended to include chemical monitoring. It's only doing E. coli now for recreational purposes. Testing on that stream. Because one thing I learned at the event that was at the ambulance garage there on 3rd Avenue was that landfill liners they have a 30-year life. And I think I have to say anything more than that. So after 30 years, the landfill will be gone, done people will be gone, and that stuff, that little toxic brew that's sitting in the bottom on top of a plastic like the top of your swimming pool will still be sitting there for who knows how long, dribbling its way into the Quackenderry Creek, past people's backyards, through their tomato plants, and past Little League Field. So I asked of the legislature, and that's why I gave you some specific recommendations. Think about that sort of as the next thing to do more administratively once the moratorium is in place. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. Very well. Very good job. Next we have on the agenda to speak is Andrea Smythe from the city of Rensselaer. Andrea, come on down. Would I be wrong to calling you a legislator from what I read in the newspaper?
Chairman Stammel and members of the county legislature. I will speak briefly to thank you so much for all coming together. It's an incredible feat that the citizens came to you, talked with you, spoke with you, contacted you, and all 19 members of the legislature have signed on to the moratorium local law that's being voted on tonight. The people of the county are better off for it. We are always going to be better together, and especially on issues affecting people's health. And this moratorium is the right action to take. I've talked to you about the background of the Bio-High-Tech project and the fact that the company seems not to be quite ready to move forward with such a questionable new industrial effort. I understand that the land we're talking about will forever be zoned industrial, and there are going to be necessary usages of that land in the future. But the fact that their permits were returned, their applications, because they were unaware that it was an environmental justice zone is just shameful. And a $1 million company that doesn't do its homework doesn't deserve an easy time of doing business in Rensselaer County. So I sincerely thank you for this action. I think it's absolutely the right action. If they can prove to us there's no environmental impact for drying hundreds of tons of garbage a mile away from the Hudson River, then Godspeed. But now that they know it's an environmental justice area, they will have to hold additional hearings and other things before they submit their applications to DEC again. And this moratorium ensures that all of that can take place, and we're very grateful. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrea. And I might also add that though we have the state of New York, who is Department of Health, who is charged with assisting us in Rensselaer County and every county in the state with such issues, and the DEC, we found them rather not easy to get along with, not easy to get information from, not very cooperative in some cases. But thanks to a lot of volunteers in and around the Capital District in the city of Rensselaer County, we were able to compile enough information in order to bring them to the table and look at this very seriously. So kudos to those people that are really concerned about what the future will be for our children, our grandchildren in Rensselaer County, and what effect it'll have on us. Thank you very much. I didn't mean that as an Elvis quote either. Okay. All right. Any other speakers that didn't sign up? Like to say anything? Okay. With that being said, I'll call the meeting to order. County Clerk?
Mr. Bailey. Mr. Bendet. Here. Mr. Burns. Here. Mr. Casal. Here. Ms. Doran. Mr. Fiacco. Here. Mr. Fleming. Here. Mr. Grant. Present. Mr. Grimm. Here. Mr. Harrington. Present. Ms. Hoffman. Here. Mr. Loveridge. Here. Mr. Patiri. Here. Mr. Peter. Here. Mr. Chessman. Here. Ms. Sullivan Tita. Present. Ms. Weaver. Here. Mr. Wysocki. Here. Chairman Stammel.
Here.
18 present, 1 absent.
Invocation, please, Mr. Grant.
Caring and ready to listen to each other. May we be open to learning where new insights and knowledge may take us. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance, legislator Grant.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. It's nice to see everybody stand. Mr. Harrington.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we dispense with the reading of the minutes of the regular meeting of July 9, 2019, and approve the minutes as printed.
On the question?
Second.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Okay. Presentation of petitions.
On file.
Presentation of communications.
On file.
Reports of commissions.
On file.
Departmental reports.
On file.
Reports of standing committees.
On file.
Local laws.
There's one attached tonight.
One local law. For that, we'll go through the index. First resolution, the first thing to do is our local law of the County of Rensselaer establishing a solid waste management facility 1-year moratorium and amending the local law number 2 of 2019. And this will be
Introduced by Stammel, Leverage, Hoffman, Harrington, Bailey, Bendet, Casal, Fiaco, Harrington, Patiri, Peter, Tessman, Wysocki, Grimm, Doran, Burns, Fleming, Sullivan, Tita, and Weaver. This is a roll call vote. Mr. Bailey?
Yes.
Mr. Bendet?
Yes.
Mr. Burns?
Yes.
Mr. Casal?
Yes.
Mr. Fiaco?
Aye.
Mr. Fleming?
Yes.
Mr. Grant?
Aye.
Mr. Grimm?
Yes.
Mr. Harrington?
Mr. Chairman?
Mr. Harrington?
Yeah, I have a little bit of a concern with this local law. Section 3, it says moratorium. If you read that over, it says we're going to prohibit transfer stations and waste processing facilities that accept, process, dispose of solid waste for the use of fuel, as a fuel product. My concern, I guess, is, we now have dairy farms. Most of us have been looking at methane digesting. Methane digesting of the manure gets rid of a lot of the methane. It's a better product to get rid of. It has no odor, basically, when you're all done. But in order to make these things pay, most of the ones that we've studied, I went to Europe and studied them all over the U.S., to really make it pay, and unfortunately in New York State, what they pay you for it costs you about 10 cents to produce methane and for a kilowatt. And the state of New York, we don't have any laws to increase this like they do in Vermont, where they have green power, they call it, and raise it up to 18 if you buy digested product. So what's happening, it's not feasible to just digest the manure. The only way we can really make it work is take in food waste in a methane digester on a farm. That digests the food waste and gets rid of it. Basically, it's gone. It's digested. So we've been looking at possibly doing this. There's nothing in the wind for the next year, probably anyway. So, but I think this would prohibit it. I know there could be exceptions made. But, so I guess what I'm saying is I understand the necessity of something here to protect the water quality. I will support this resolution as it's stated because it's a moratorium for a period of 1 year. But I think in the year coming, I think it's something we ought to really look at and maybe modify this, because we're talking about streams within a mile. Okay, you couldn't have it. There isn't probably a piece of ground in Rensselaer County that's a mile away from any stream that goes into the Hudson River, or in our case, up in our area, towards the Tom Haddock when it gets all done. So I'm concerned about the mile from the stream. So I think, I know this will run out in a year, so if we're going to continue it, I think we need to look at all these facets and and maybe even get together with towns and get their comments on the issue, and then move forward to maybe modifying at least the digester. I think we talked about that down at the sewer plant even. So I'll support it, but I really want it looked over and brought up within a year, as it says we must. Thank you.
May I speak, Mr. Chairman?
Thank you, Mr. Harrington. Mr. Fiacco.
Yeah, I talked to Mike this afternoon about this, and I was kind of against it a little bit too, Mike, personally. But what really is happening, when you actually start the project, and it's only a year moratorium,
Right.
you know how long it takes to get anything passed through this state, through the bureaucracy?
Yeah.
So the year really means nothing. I mean, when we got talking about it, it makes sense. So, I mean, it gives you a little breathing room, but there's no, you're still couldn't get it done any sooner. So, I mean, that's how I felt about it, and I'm also supporting it. So.
Thank you, Mr. Fiacco.
Ms.
Anything
Hoffman.
further?
I'm sorry.
Call the roll.
Ms. Hoffman?
Yes.
Mr. Leverage?
Yes.
Mr. Patiri?
Yes.
Mr. Peter?
Yes.
Mr. Testman?
Aye.
Ms. Sullivan Tita?
Yes.
Ms. Weaver?
Yes.
Mr. Wysocki?
Yes.
Chairman Stammel?
Yes.
18 ayes.
Thank you, everybody. Next is Resolution P 29519.
P 29519, resolution recognizing John A. McWhinney as Rensselaer County Legislature's August 2019 Young Outstanding Leader of the Month, introduced by Chairman Stammel and the entire legislative body.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
18 ayes.
So moved. Next is P 29619.
P 29619, resolution recognizing Stephen Fisk for his heroic rescue efforts, introduced by Legislator Chairman Stammel and the entire legislative body.
On the question. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
18 ayes.
So moved. P 29719.
P 29719, resolution commending Michael Nofel as the recipient of the 2019 Heart Cluid Award, introduced by legislators Grimm, Dorn, and the entire legislative body.
On the question. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
18 ayes.
So moved. P 29819.
P 29819, resolution recognizing September 29, 2019 as National Gold Star Mother's Day, introduced by legislators Harrington, Testman, and the entire legislative body.
On the question. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
18 ayes.
So moved. P 29919.
P 29919, resolution declaring the month of September 2019 in Rensselaer County as a month of remembrance, introduced by Chairman Stammel and the entire legislative body.
On the question. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
18 ayes.
So moved. P 319.
P 319, resolution recognizing September 17th through the 23rd, 2019 as United States Constitution Week in Rensselaer County, introduced by Chairman Stammel and the entire legislative body.
On the question. All in favor? Aye. So moved.
18 ayes.
P 30119.
P 30119, resolution turning Rensselaer County teal in recognition of Ovarian Cancer Awareness Month, introduced by legislators Grant, Bendet, Casal, and the entire legislative body.
On the question. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
18 ayes.
So moved. P 30219.
P 30219, resolution recognizing September 2019 as National Recovery Month in Rensselaer County, introduced by legislators Grant, Testman, and the entire legislative body.
On the question. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
18 ayes.
So moved. P 30319.
P 30319, resolution recognizing September 2019 as National Preparedness Month, introduced by Chairman Stammel and the entire legislative body.
On the question. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
18 ayes.
So moved. G 30419.
G 30419, resolution recognizing an agreement with Capital District Transportation Authority, Department of Youth, introduced by legislators Harrington, Testman, and Burns.
On the question. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
18 ayes.
So moved. G 30519.
G 30519, resolution authorizing payment to P.J. Blanchard Esquire as court-appointed Special District Attorney, County Attorney, introduced by legislators Testman, Grant, and Weaver.
On the question. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
18 ayes.
So moved. G 30619.
G 30619, resolution authorizing the purchase of course aggregates, Highway Department, introduced by legislators Leverage, Grant, Sullivan, Tita, Harrington, Bailey, and Fleming.
On the question. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
17 ayes, 1 abstention, Mr. Casal.
So moved. G 30719.
G 30719, resolution accepting technology and software from the New York State Department of Health to support the Rensselaer County Health Department to aid the battle in the battle against opioid epidemic. Automon LLC for caseload explore probation case management system, Department of Probation, introduced by legislators Tessman, Grant, and Weaver.
On the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
18 ayes.
So moved. G 30819.
G 30919.
19, yeah.
Resolution authorizing contract for highway equipment rental with operator Highway Department, introduced by legislators Leverage, Grant, Sullivan, Tita, Harrington, Bailey, and Fleming.
On the question? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
18 ayes.
So moved. G 31019.
G 31019, resolution authorizing contracts for heavy truck parts and repairs, Highway Department, introduced by legislators Leverage, Grant, Sullivan, Tita, Harrington, Bailey, and Fleming.
On the question? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
18 ayes.
So moved. G 31119.
G 31119, resolution authorizing an amendment with Catalog and Commerce Solutions LLC, County Attorney's Office, introduced by legislators Tessman, Grant, and Weaver.
On the question? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
18 ayes.
So moved. G 31219.
G 31219, resolution authorizing a contract accepting a grant award from the New York State Office of Indigent Legal Services and amending the 2019 Rensselaer County adopted budget, Public Defender, Conflict Defender, and County Attorney, introduced by legislators Tessman, Grant, and Weaver.
On the question? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
18 ayes.
So moved. G 31319.
G 31319, resolution amending the 2019 Rensselaer County adopted budget for public safety grants, Bureau of Public Safety, introduced by legislators Tessman, Grant, and Weaver.
On the question? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
18 ayes.
So moved. G 31419.
G 31419, resolution amending the 2019 Rensselaer County adopted budget, Department of Health, introduced by legislators Bendet, Casal, and Doran.
On the question? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
18 ayes.
So moved. G 31519.
G 31519, resolution authorizing the purchase and installation of replacement and uninterrupted power service battery system, Office of the Rensselaer County Sheriff, introduced by legislators Tessman, Grant, and Weaver.
On the question? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
18 ayes.
So moved. G 31619.
G 31619, resolution accepting funding from the Greenway Conservancy for the Hudson River Valley, Inc., and amending the 2019 Rensselaer County adopted budget, Highway Department, introduced by legislators Leverage, Grant, Sullivan, Tita, Harrington, Bailey, and Fleming.
On the question? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
18 ayes.
So moved. G 31719.
G 31719, resolution authorizing an amendment to resolution number G 219 for the purchase of 911 phone system equipment, Bureau of Public Safety, introduced by legislators Tessman, Grant, and Weaver.
On the question? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
18 ayes.
So moved. G 31819.
G 31819, resolution approving settlement agreement between the County of Rensselaer and CSEA, representing CSEA members, Department Bureau of Human Resources, introduced by legislators Wysocki, Patiri, and Burns.
On the question? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
18 ayes.
So moved. G 31919.
G 31919, resolution authorizing the acceptance of 2 grant awards from New York State and the purchase of early voting equipment, software training, and from NOWINC, and amending the 2019 Rensselaer County adopted budget, Board of Elections, introduced by legislators Leverage, Grant, Sullivan, Tita, Stammel, and Grimm.
On the question? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
18 ayes.
So moved. G 32019.
G 32019, resolution accepting 25 Dominion image ballot marking devices from St. Lawrence County Board of Elections, introduced by Chairman Stammel.
On the question? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
18 ayes.
So moved. G 32119.
G 32119, resolution authorizing an agreement with the Scotticook Fair and amending the 2019 Rensselaer County adopted budget, Rensselaer County Legislature, introduced by Chairman Stammel.
On the question?
If I may.
Yes, sir.
We discussed this in discussion rules earlier, and I'm going to support this resolution. But as we have talked about, I mean, you know, it's easy for us to throw people's money at things when people come asking for it. This is probably a very good reason. It increases certain tax base, brings a lot of people to the county, and also celebrates the county and something, helping out here. But I just think that we should see, there should be some sort of process when we're giving the people's money away, where we should be able to see the financials or their funding sources to make sure that there's some oversight, that they are doing what they're supposed to be doing as well. And I'm sure that the Scottish people will give out money like this. So, thank you.
I will make that request in the morning.
Pardon?
I said I'll make that request in the morning.
Anybody else? I must say that in the past, the amount that we always used to give the Scotticoke Fair was kind of low, and we knew we would get that return in taxes and things of that nature, as you talked about earlier, and travel and use. But this was an exceptional time of year, obviously celebrating the 200th anniversary, and they asked us if we could step up and help them a little bit more because they wanted to make a bigger celebration out of it than normal. So that's what brought us down this path, and like you had mentioned and we talked about in caucus, that special rules, that we'll get that information for you. Okay? Thank you very much.